Scusate se interrompo, il prossimo relatore parlerà in inglese. Se qualcuno desidera avere le cuffiette per la traduzione simultanea, per favore li può chiedere all'esterno. Scusami.
Niente, e poi allora aggiungo una comunicazione di servizio alla relazione del professor Wolff, che adesso introduco subito. La relazione, please, Professor Wolff, it's your time and we enjoy to hear your speech. Il professor Wolff, che adesso introduco, ha lasciato, come è buona consuetudine dei bravi colleghi ricercatori, ha lasciato la sua relazione qui all'ingresso nel reception. Quindi chi la desiderasse la può ritirare poi successivamente. Ricordo che il professor Klaus Wolff si è laureato in medicina e si è specializzato in dermatologia presso l'Università di Vienna. Ha poi appunto seguito gli studi specialistici in dermatologia presso questa università e ulteriormente un approfondimento alla Mayo Clinic a Rochester in Minnesota. Klaus Wolff, rientrando, poi è stato anche successivamente alla Harvard University a Boston, nel Massachusetts. Il professor Wolff è diventato inizialmente direttore del Dipartimento di Dermatologia dell'Università di Innsbruck e successivamente è ritornato nella sua Università di Vienna, divenendo direttore del Dipartimento di Dermatologia di tale università. Basta solo citare, non voglio ricordare tutta la sua prestigiosa e lunga carriera scientifica, ma certamente il Dipartimento di Dermatologia di Vienna è nel tempo cresciuto, sviluppato, ha fatto diverse affermazioni importanti, raggiungendo una posizione tra i primi 5 dipartimenti di dermatologia nel mondo. Grande merito al professor Klaus è derivata anche dal fatto del riconoscimento di professore emerito nel 2004. Continua oggi la sua professione, è molto attento anche a questa patologia e credo che da oltre 30 anni stia seguendo la nostra Valeria come appunto medico di consulto, no? Più che curante, personale. Ecco, pubblicazioni e libri che ha fatto ovviamente sono numerosissimi. Direi che siamo tutti molto attenti e curiosi di sentire la relazione del professor Wolff.
Thank you for your laudatory remarks. I don't deserve them, and they were too long. Dear Chair, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of the Natalino Corazza Foundation, everybody. Before going into my talk, I want to say something about a wonderful woman, Valeria Corazza, whom I have known for decades, first as a patient, and now as a very close friend. A remarkable woman who not only fought most of her life with her disease, but is now putting all her efforts into this foundation, which I wish is going to prosper and be very successful. It is a great honor to speak here today, and I have slightly changed the title of my talk. I'm going to talk about what we have learned from psoriasis and how psoriasis has changed an entire field, dermatology. Psoriasis is the flagship disease of dermatology, the most important disease, not only because it is so common. It has been here with us as long as we have written recordings. And it is a disease which only now we start to understand. And we understand it is not only a skin disease, it's a systemic disease. It has a genetic background, multifactorial, and the manifestations in the skin, but also in the joints, because there is psoriatic arthritis, are the expression of an ongoing autoimmune process. This watercolor is from Kaposchi's Atlas of Dermatology, 1878, by a Viennese dermatologist who also was an artist, whose name is Elfinger. And you see, he depicted the disease in an Orthodox Jew with a slightly darker color. And now we remember that when we read the Bible, there's always a reference to leprosy, and that the skin of a leper was white as snow. Most of these cases were not leprosy. They were psoriasis. And the disease itself, the manifestations have not changed. Oops, sorry, I went too fast. Back. Where is my director? No, I'm going forward. I have to go back to the second. Here, okay, good. So, no, go back. No, one more. Now, this is what we see as psoriasis today, but it looks different in different ethnic groups. This is a Palestinian Arab. In a Central European white person, it will be mainly red. And so there are many manifestations and changes. Nonetheless, the disease is the same as it was 2,000 or 4,000 years ago. What has changed is our understanding. When I was a young dermatologist, psoriasis was considered where are we? On this side, a hyperproliferative disease. This is the normal skin, epidermis, upper layer of the skin. This is psoriatic disease. And you see, it's 3 times as thick. And it has all this scale on the surface. When I was young, people counted mitosis and found that the cells of the epidermis multiply many more times, more often than normal epidermal cells. Today, this is still true. But in my young years, we believed that the seat of the disease is in the epidermis, and that it is primarily a multiplying condition of the cells similar to a tumor. Today we know that the seat of the disease is in small cells in the upper part of the connective tissue of the dermis. Lymphocytes, immune cells, and we know today that I don't want to confuse you, a whole population of different cells involved in immune reactions and actions are involved. Dendritic cells, T cells, and that these cells interact, and they interact mainly by messenger molecules, small molecules, lymphokines, chemokines, that permit the cells to talk with each other. One cell giving another cell type a message, and that cell type reacts and passes the message on. And today we know that actually the Th17 T cells that come from the blood into the skin are the main culprit, because they send out IL-17, for instance, which informs the epidermal cells to multiply like mad. This understanding has finally led to a change, finally, of our therapeutic approaches. Because formerly, everything we did was empirism, be it anthralin, tar, or even corticosteroids, be it the positive influence of the sun, ultraviolet B, or special techniques like the Geckerman technique, be it PUVA, retinoids, they were all practically empirical. And some of them had wrong concepts. For instance, PUVA therapy is based on the interaction of light and the drug, a sorolin. We developed the PUVA therapy not for psoriasis. We knew the interaction of sorolins and ultraviolet light A, long wave, leads to considerable pigmentation. And actually, PUVA was developed for depigmentary disorders, like vitiligo. Only when the system stood already, learned that sorolins, this is the molecule, form monoadducts with the DNA of cells. And when they are shone upon by UVA, they form crosslinks, which do not permit the cell to divide. And so we said, that was in 1972. We said, that's where we have to apply it. Where is a disease which proliferates? Psoriasis. And it worked. But the concept was wrong, because now we know PUVA works by interfering with immune cells. The same thing happened with cyclosporin, but this was a very decisive development. There was one patient who had an autoimmune disease and psoriasis, and he was given cyclosporin A, and his psoriasis disappeared. This, for the first time, indicated that immune cells are involved in psoriasis. And this led to this concept I referred to already, this hodgepodge of immune cells. But there are other developments also. Pimecrolimus is an immune modulator. When you give this to a patient with psoriasis by mouth, on day 28, psoriasis is gone. No side effects, proven by pharmacogenomic studies, which we did. We thought, here we have something that is really phenomenal. The company decided to take it off the market because they were involved, I'm not going to say which company, involved in producing pimecrolimus as a topical drug And they were afraid that if Millicronimus would eventually show to produce side effects when taken systemically by mouth, it would kill the whole drug. So we're back to the biologics. And these are based upon the cell and cellular messages interactions within the skin. We have a whole list. TNF-alpha antagonists, LFA3IG, anti-CD11A drugs, anti-IL-12, etc., etc. They all work, some better than the others. Most make no side effects measured against other previous treatments. But today they're still incredibly expensive. But these drugs show that with time we can really do targeted treatment. And this really shows how we have emerged from an empirical field into translational medicine. Psoriasis is the model for the modern developments in medicine. But we have learned more. Well, so just an example. We have learned more. We have learned not only the molecular mechanisms, derived from that, the tailored treatments, the biologics, but we have learned by studying psoriasis more and more of the multi-comorbidities in psoriatic patients, metabolic disorders, diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease. We had known for a long time that psoriasis affects the joints, and thus we have an improved understanding of psoriasis as a systemic disease and not only a disease of the skin. And as we go along, we've also reached an improved awareness of the psychosocial and psycho-economical burdens of psoriasis, about which you will hear shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Wolff, for your very interesting, important speech. Thank you. For the question, the discussion will be at the end, ok? Ci sono un po' di discussioni, lo facciamo alla fine. Esatto. Ci sono curiosità e discussioni, lo facciamo alla fine di tutte le relazioni. Allora,